Right.
Cool. So in the line 36 on Brick House. So again, it's like, it's the pages are nicely spaced out into four measures each line, which is great. And then most of them have like a little fill at the end of each fourth measure. So if I play like in the line starting in measure 36, if I play the third measure of that line and the fourth measure, we get 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and then pretty darn consistently, there's also a crash cymbal coming out of each of those lines. Hi-hat's acting up, sorry. But I'll do that one more time. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and so you get like a little, starting from beat 2 in that measure, you get 2 and 3, and 4, and then that's kind of a clockwise thing the rest of the time. The next line, which starts, well, I said 36. I meant to say 26 for that one. Excuse me. It's the first line on page 2.
Okay.
The next line, starting in measure 30, if I take the third measure of that line, you get another fill in measure 4. So we get 1, 2, and 3, and 2, and or this tom-tom, looks like, either one. I'll do that one more time. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3.
It's nice.
Great fills.
It's a nice fill.
Yeah, next line.
Is that the on the kick again, right? On the
what was that?
Was it on the of 3 again on the kick?
In the third measure of that line, it was. So it was like 1, 2, and 3, up, 4,
Yeah.
right there.
Right.
Next line, starting measure 34, if I do the same thing, starting the third measure of that line, here's a really funky fill. You know what? For right now, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch out hi-hats.
Yeah, sure.
Because this one is a little more intricate with the open, and my hi-hat is acting up right now. I apologize about this. I promise I'll give it back.
That's all right.
So this one we get 1, 2. So this is starting in measure 36.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3, 4, and another cool open. This one's a little trickier because the open is like in the midst of the fill. So if I just take that fourth measure really slow this time, this is measure 37. 1, and 2, and 3, and then what I'm doing is he writes a foot hi-hat on beat 4, so it's like kind of like finishing off the open that was on the end of 3, if that makes sense. So we have 1, and 2, and 3, and see how when I came down on 4, I came down with the foot.
Were you opening it on the or on the and?
The and of 3.
The and of 3. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
1, and 2, and 3, and
Got it.
cool fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, great song.
This is a great song.
So, let's see here. Going ahead a few, the next couple aren't too terrible. There's one near the bottom of this second page. And some really good ones on the next page, too. So we get here we have measure 53, which is the last measure of the second to last line on the page, starting in measure 50, that is. So if I play 52 and 53 together, we get this. 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and. So that's a little more syncopated, but it's all in the snare drum this time, so that's good. The other tricky little thing, if we're getting super exact with how we're playing it all, there's a little bass drum on the and of 4 that lines up with the snare drum. So one more time with those two. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and. Followed immediately by another bass drum crash. So, one more time, I'll go on. 1, and 2, and 3, and crash. So on.
It is a great song. I've always wanted to learn this one.
Yeah, so good. let's see here. I'm picking just a couple, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Okay, this one looks kind of fun. Measure line 74. It's marked the bridge, like the second bridge, I believe, marking. So if I play, this will be measure 77. I'll start in 76 actually, one before. So we get 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and up. With a little linear stuff happening. So slowly that's measure 77. 1, and 2, and 3, and up, and there's a 4 on the hi-hat again, right? So a few of these fills, there'll be, like I said, an open hi-hat in the midst of it, and then he'll close it at some point. So it's not just like staying open for the entirety of the fill.
Right.
So that's another little, whenever you see that hi-hat in the foot on the bottom of the staff, that's kind of what that means.
Okay.
One more time with that. 1, and 2, and 3, and up, 4, and. So again, I came down on 4 with my left foot that time.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. There's a breakdown that's labeled right a couple lines later, starting in measure 82. I'll play that line once. This is actually the same fill as the beginning. It revisits. So we get 82, ready, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, a nice recap of that fill from the beginning.
Okay.
But the breakdown, common thing drummers do in a breakdown is they go to that constant snare quarter feel. Right?
What does breakdown mean exactly?
It kind of means like it's kind of vague, but oftentimes it'll mean like some instruments might cut out.
Okay.
It might just be like a sort of like thinning out instrumentation wise.
Okay.
And then like in this case probably 4 measures later after that fill, the bass I would imagine, I can't remember exactly what happens in the song, but I'm pretty sure the bass comes back in there.
Okay.
So it'll be like I said, just some sort of like change instrumentally. Usually a thinning out of like the number of people playing. So then there can be a little more of a departure. In this case, the snare, instead of playing on 2 and 4, it's like it's doing all 4 chord notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm pretty sure what happens. Bass back in. And then it goes back to the regular groove with the funky bass line and everything.
Okay.
So that's